Most people following SCHD have heard the overview pitch ad nauseum. So I'll hit you with the distillation right from the start. From a real-world owned share count of 5,063, SCHD paid me $1,408 in Q4 of 2025. So if all you wanted were the numbers, there you go. But if any of the 7 of you who will actually watch this video want more details on SCHD's construction or my projected monthly and annual dividend breakdown, keep watching. General consumers are concerned with short-term, temporary excitement and satisfaction. Wealthy consumers are concerned with sustained, dependable utility and fiscal optionality. SCHD is a now and later investment that gives wealthy-minded investors the utility and optionality they're looking for. A now and later asset is one that's productive, which is the now, and depreciating, which is the later. Here, productive means it can sustain current operations, like paying a monthly bill or funding near-term activities. And depreciating, meaning its future value is increasing, so it's able to do more over time without additional investment. SCHD is a low-cost, passively managed ETF that selects its member stocks from the Dow Jones U.S. Dividend 100 Index. SCHD only tracks this index rather than strictly following it. So one of the problems for me is that it'll call what I consider to be clear winners like AVGO, Broadcom, for example, and keep questionable, maybe underperforming assets for Y-example. Example, Y-example. Yeah. Even so, I consider its body of work excellent for my purposes, and it is a core holding in 3 of my portfolios. The quick hits from the fact sheet are: inception date, 20 October 2011, total net assets, $71,642 million, expense ratio, 0.06%, target number of securities held, 100, distributions, quarterly, turnover rate, 28.51%. So those are the particulars, as Ben Squeezles would say.
I got family.
But how does SCHD actually work? Well, I'm glad you asked. And I will happily explain it to all 4 of you still watching. 3 people left after the intro. Anywho, SCHD's order of operations for determining holdings is actually very straightforward and surprisingly quite simple. I've broken it down into 8 steps, with the first 4 steps covering individual stock selection and the last 4 steps covering the fund distribution mechanics. The stock selection criteria are: number 1, a stock needs to have at least 10 years of consecutive dividend payments, and number 2, it also needs to have a minimum market cap of $500 million. Number 3, stocks that make it this far are sorted from highest to lowest dividend yield. And number 4, sorting down continues against cash flow to debt ratio, return on equity, dividend yield, and 5-year dividend growth rate. Now that the bucket of stocks is defined, the fund portfolio itself is tuned. The fund composition criteria are: number 5, 4% is the max weight of any individual stock in the index. And number 6, 25% is the max weight of any individual sector in the index. Number 7, rebalance occurs quarterly and is a reevaluation that uses steps 5 through 6 to ensure that the 4% individual stock and 25% individual sector weight caps are adhered to. And number 8, reconstitution occurs annually and is a reevaluation that uses steps 1 through 4 to determine which stocks to add and which to remove from the fund. Now, you'll see a lot of chatter online around SCHD at reconstitution time. I mean, it's a truckload of fun, kids, I'm telling you. Listen to all the churn from the hip cats with their groovy vids, man. For the real world example today, I've got 3 tax-advantaged accounts with SCHD in them, and they look like this. Account 1, 3,972 shares. Account 2, 646 shares. And account 3, 445 shares. That gives me a grand total of 5,063 shares. And from those 5,063 shares, the quarterly payment breakdown looks like this. Account 1, with its 3,972 shares, pays me $1,105 quarterly. Account 2, with its 646 shares, pays me $179 quarterly. Account 3, with its 445 shares, pays me $124 quarterly, and that gives me a quarterly grand total of $1,408 from SCHD. And for as long as I've been doing this, investing, I still get giddy receiving these payments. I didn't have to do anything to get this money except own the stock. The only actual work, quote unquote, is in maintaining the discipline to never sell shares while consistently increasing the number of shares via dividend reinvestment, whether that be by a little or a lot. So once I own the stock, I essentially do nothing and receive money for doing that nothing. I can buy something with this money. I can let it sit in the account. I can pay a bill. I can give it away. I can reinvest it. I can light it on fire if I want. Whatever I want to do with it, the choice is mine. Now, because these payments are quarterly and most of us use a monthly planning model, let's see what that total quarterly distribution translates to on an annual and monthly basis. Annually, these 5,063 shares pay me $5,632. And even though distributions are received quarterly, if I carve this total annual payout up and manage it as in a monthly stipend scheme, this works out to $469 per month from SCHD. Again, that's almost $500 a month for doing absolutely nothing. That's not earth-shattering money by any measure in the United States, but it's enough to put a dent in some of my financial obligations. And that $469 that I did nothing extra to get and that I can do anything with is consistently paid out year in and year out. And the kicker to all of this is that this consistent payout will continue to grow from two specific vectors. Vector 1, if SCHD's historical CAGR of roughly 10% is maintained, the dividend payout will continue to double and close to triple the historical rate of inflation. And Vector 2, if I continue to reinvest dividends in part or whole, I will increasingly own more shares, which will in turn increase the amount of each payout because of, well, math, man. All I have to do is continue building and maintaining the fiscal infrastructure, the money machine, by not dismantling it and selling its shares, because those shares are its lifeblood. If I sell the shares, I break the machine. Instead, I must only use the money that the machine itself produces. Now, sure, that roughly $500 a month is a small amount right now and not a big deal, but it's just the output of one holding in a much larger portfolio. And if it doubles or even triples in mass over the years, I'll then receive $1,000 to $1,500 a month in SCHD dividends alone, and that would be a big deal. So I'm going back to where we started. SCHD is a now and later asset that's productive and appreciating. With productive, which is the now, meaning it can sustain current operations like paying monthly bills or funding near-term activities, and appreciating, which is the later, meaning its future value is increasing. So it's able to do more over time without additional investment. And that without additional investment part is very important. A true money machine will build its own cash injection. But from what I've learned, there's a breakdown here between wealthy mindset people and poor mindset people when it comes to some of these concepts. Wealthy-minded people are concerned with long-term, sustained fiscal infrastructure functionality and control. They flow money by injecting income into infrastructure componentry via reinvestment, and then, instead of using the income to fund their lifestyle, they only use the liquid that the fiscal infrastructure itself produces. Conversely, poor mindset people are concerned with temporary, short-term excitement and satisfaction, always chasing the next high, the next thrill. They also flow money, but instead of exploiting assets, they do it by injecting income into lifestyle componentry via selling those very same assets that we need to hang on to, or by buying non-asset material. Many don't even attempt to build fiscal infrastructure. Income can only flow, which means it can never be the foundation for an enduring structure or fiscal infrastructure. Purpose-built assets, however, remain steadfast, which means they are inherently fiscal infrastructure. The proper wealth protocol is this: income leads to infrastructure, leads to liquid. Income flows into infrastructure to maintain and strengthen it, and then that infrastructure produces liquid. Excess liquid is the money left over after all current obligations and operational costs have been satisfied. Once the fiscal infrastructure is capable of producing excess liquid, that liquid can be re-injected back into the infrastructure as income, repeating the cycle. You know, it just kind of keeps going round and round, you know, like Bruce Lee. Yeah. And the exact moment this re-injection of excess liquid occurs is when the model elevates its status to that of a perpetual and self-sustaining entity. It's now a money machine. To wrap up, nurturing and fattening up the proverbial SCHD goose is my prime directive. If you haven't built a money machine for yourself, but the idea sounds intriguing to you, you must first think on it and then decide if you'll even build one. And if you do decide to do it, you'll then have to decide if you'll spend all of its principal and earnings in the short term, depleting the resource, or if you'll instead spend just the earnings now and later, never touching the principal, but being able to continue that form of spending from here to eternity. Good luck on your investing journey, and thanks for watching.